Hey everyone, it is Sam here. How are we all going today? Dropping into today with another video. This time the man that's caught my eye is Manus, Manus. And if you're looking at my screen now, you'll see Manus is actually working away. I've asked Manus to go away and analyze the sentiment across all reviews for commercial real estate on the Gold Coast. Make sure you check Google, Rate My Agent, Domain, realestate.com.au and any others. Give me a report on their key strengths and weaknesses. And Manus is, well, it's somehow I got myself on the beta. I'm still not sure how. But if you have a look at Manus's response, it says, I'll help you analyze the sentiment across reviews. I'll check multiple sources. This will take some time as I'll need to gather and analyze data from multiple sources. I'll keep you updated on my progress. And so what you can see here is that Manus is working and it has created itself a to-do list from my command. So it's going to search Google, then it's going to go to Rate My Agent, then it's going to go to Domain, then it's going to go to realestate.com.au, analyze sentiment across all review sources, compile a report on strengths and weaknesses, and deliver a final report to the user. Now, that's all fine. And so, like this actually acts like an employee, if you like. So it's going away, it's doing the work, and it's basically checking off a checklist. Now, what caught my eye about Manus, so we'll just leave Manus working away there. But okay, so what is Manus? So Manus is an AI agent that's generating a fair bit of attention at the moment. It's an autonomous AI system that can perform complex tasks by breaking them down into steps and executing them independently, which is what you see in this to-do list here. Now, you might be wondering what's on the hood if you're a nerd like me. So Manus is actually built using Claude 3.7 Sonnet and sometimes another model of Claude. And then when you give Manus a prompt, it determines which model to use for different steps and then utilizes an open source tool called Browser in a virtual computer environment. So what that means is it's a little bit like Operator, for instance, or, ChatGPT Operator. If you remember the video I made on Operator, you could see the Operator was kind of acting on its own and controlling a computer. And so how it works, you ask Manus a question, it creates a detailed task list, breaks down what it needs to do. And, you can see here, this is not my actual browser. This is, it's working in its own browser and it's now up to step 2 of 8. And so this does some amazing stuff, let me tell you. So the reason that I went into this rabbit hole and asked for beta access is because I saw this video of Greg Eisenberg's, and he runs a Startup Ideas podcast, which I love to watch every now and then. He comes up with these amazing ideas and stuff. He's got this guy, Mentoria, on his podcast talking about, Manus AI, and basically they're asking it to create a DocuSign clone. And I mean, the thought of that is quite amazing because, obviously DocuSign is a very established piece of software. It's, let me just go back to Manus again for a second here while it's still working away. It's a very established piece of software. You pay per seat. And what we're kind of seeing now with these new models is, why bother paying for software almost if you can make your own? And Manus can do all sorts of things from, creating games, not that you'd want to, but research and information gathering, which you can see doing here. So you can see now it's moved on to step 3 of 8. It's just working through its to-do list. It can create a website clone. So I saw another video where they set Manus off to make a clone of the Apple website, which it did pretty well. And, and then you might have seen there was a viral video going around last week where someone was actually using Manus while in their Tesla preparing for a sales, preparing talking points for a sales meet. So, I have tested quite a few use cases on this one. And while this one is still going, there's one more I want to show you, which is very similar to the use case that I did on Operator, which gives you some idea of where things are going in the future. So so remember in Operator, my use case was that I wanted to find a 4-bedroom home. So I'm looking at this from the perspective of a buyer now, and you can see this is 8 hours ago. If you're on the beating, you can't hammer this thing. You can only give it like one task every 24 hours. So I've said, I'm looking to buy a house in Broadbeach Waters. Can you please pull together a detailed market report for me on 4-bedroom homes with pools and tell me where you think the best value is? So it goes away and says, all right, I'll help create a detailed market report for 4-bedroom homes with pools. I'll gather information on current listings, recent. And, I was actually wondering how good this would be. And again, same thing, creating a comprehensive research list. And then it goes through and creates the to-do list. Here's its to-do list. This one's significantly longer. So what it's going to do is it's going to go initial research, identify key suburbs, search for 4-bedroom homes, compile data, gather data, neighborhood information, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you want to actually look at you can actually watch the replays of these tasks. At times, Manus will slow down and say, all right, here's where I'm up to, like a good assistant, here's where I'm up to. I might need some help with this or that, or might ask you a question, which is pretty cool. Again, you can see that it goes away and updates its to-do list, but I'll leave this video in the community. So I'm just going to copy this link and you can actually watch the replay of Manus performing this case. And so it's actually pretty interesting where, replay was started with. So this is like watching the footy on Friday Night Football. We're watching the action replay here. So you can see it's actually searching, going through Domain, knocking items off the to-do list, gone to Homely, again looking at Domain, picking up, information on Broadbeach Waters. So you can see it's up to 6 out of 10 now. It's gone to Property Buyer, looking at the market overview, looking for current listings. It's pretty amazing watching this. I think it's actually visiting some of the other websites like Kawashi and Ray White. And now I did ask it for another, when it came back, it said, okay, I didn't have enough credits. I had to put more money in this lot. But then it says, I'll continue working on your Broadbeach Waters property market. So on and on it goes. And then it came up and said, I've completed your detailed market report. This report includes a comprehensive analysis of the local property market, current listings, recent sales. Based on my analysis, I've identified 3 properties that represent the best current value opportunities. What do we do with that, people? Okay, so then the report shows that Broadbeach Waters has experienced 22% growth over the past 24 months, with projections indicating a minimum growth of 8 to 10% for 2025, 2026. We've got some median house prices. It's come with a couple of documents. So best value properties, what it thinks are best value properties. The, Broadbeach market report specifically on 4-bedroom homes with pools, April 25, and come back with some final recommendations. And so, I just wanted to give it another test. And I sort of said, look, I really need to see links to properties on the portals of my report. Also, can you add who are the best agents to my report, as I need to sell my place before I buy? And as there is only one comparable in this report, I really need to see more. So I think what came up with is that, there was a lot of price withheld. You can always go up here at any point in time and have a look at, all of the files and things like that in your project. And so for this one, so this one had a lot of price withheld. So anyway, then Manus comes back and says, thanks for your feedback. I'll enhance the report with the additional information on the direct links to properties on the real estate portal so you can view them easily. I'll research include information about the best agents, and I'll expand comparable sales section. Excellent. So you can see we've created ourselves a to-do list, and it's gone and looked at some other websites, looked at Rent My Agent, top 3 real estate websites, completed the enhanced market report, Goodo, come up with the top real estate agents. So John Reed, Harcourts Coastal, and Rodden Sherrill. If I had my time over again and I was selling a house, I'd probably go straight to this. And then these are the 3 people I would interview. So there we go. And then we've got some additional comparable sales, which is good. Enhanced report maintains the original best value, blah, 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 blah. Can you give me, so then I always have to ask, can you give me a bit more detail on how you selected the agents and what sources did you use? So there we go. So use Rent My Agent, real estate agents, agency websites, recent sales data, and then its selection criteria were sales volume and value, local specialization. So again, what we're seeing here, so proven track records of high sales volume. So, like, again, I would say that you definitely need your volumes if you want them on your website so that these are actually findable by the robots. Rod and Cheryl Martin sell approximately 20 properties annually at an average sale price of 1,393. Well, Campbell sells about 28 at an average of 813,000. Probably a bit low for houses in Broadbeach Waters, but anyway. I selected agents who demonstrate specific expertise in Broadbeach Waters rather than general Gold Coast agents. So again, this is like niching down. So Scott Reed has 25 years experience in this area and is responsible for 700 million in property sales. And then we've got some, experience with similar property. So again, like having, selling everything to everyone is not what the AI wants to see. The AI actually wants to see that, that you have some kind of specialty. So so that's pretty interesting. So, you can go back and watch that again as many times as you like. You can download a report, you can copy that, you can download it and go and view all the files in this task. If I wanted to, I could get it to create a website out of it. But I mean, gosh, what a time to be alive. Finally, I think, just to wrap up this video, let's go back and see if we have a result on our sentiment analysis. So let's go back here. Okay, and we can see that Manos, I kept on saying Manos, if you're listening, Manos. Okay, so up here, let's see what we can find out about Koloshi. So I'll help you analyze the sentiment across the reviews, blah, 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 blah. So that's where we got to before. So we've gone to Rate My Agent domain, and I'll put this task up in the community for a replay as well. Okay, keep going. Completed a comprehensive sentiment analysis. Here's what I found. They have an exceptional online reputation with an overall average rating of approximately 4.8 out of 5 stars across 342 accessible reviews. About 90% of all reviews are overwhelmingly positive, with only 6% showing negative sentiment. Key strengths: exceptional communication, expertise, above and beyond service, integrity and honesty, efficient property management. Due to the number of negative reviews, specific weaknesses were difficult to identify. Okay, fair enough. Potential areas for improvement might include stress management during transactions and ensuring consistency across all team members. That's good information if you're a leader. Several individual agents received consistently positive mentions, particularly Brett Coyne, Chelsea, Andrew, Ryan, and Michael. I've prepared a detailed report with my complete findings for your review. So here we go. Pretty there's probably a whole workflow that you could use in your marketing and things like that here, but strengths. So this sort of breaks down a little bit what Manos was saying before. So it's pretty cool. And if you go to the Manos website, you can have a look at, some of the other things, and there's a whole host of YouTube videos on other things that you can do. Again, I feel like we're scratching the surface with these agentic models and what they can do. So I hope you enjoyed this video on Manos, and if you decide to give it a try, let me know.